speaking about turmoil, Rob, Araiza, the punter from Buffalo.
Right.
As you know now, I'm sure everybody knows, he was cut. He was cut by the Buffalo Bills. Matt Araiza, drafted in the 6th round, supposed to be a tremendous punter, and he has been. They call him.
And
the punt
field
god.
position, Chris, is very important. You need a punter who can pin a team back. I mean, punting is not a joke. You need a great punter. You really do.
I'm not going. If he was, I mean, I agree with you. Obviously, punting is important, but I do think you can find good punters. They might not find another great punter, but I think they can find a good one. And I think, Rob, they're like, look, this is a PR nightmare. It's a punter. It's a 6th round pick. You know, we're not going to put up with all the madness we're going to have to put up with because of these accusations for a punter.
Chris,
that's what I think.
Here's my issue.
So the accusations, quickly for those, I don't know if you've been under a rock, but while he was at San Diego State last year as a senior, he is accused of it was statutory rape because the girl's underage. Now he says it was consensual. Right, she's 17 years old, so he has sex with her at a party at his house off campus, and then he leads her into a room. Now, she says that the drink she had from him
had a Mickey in it.
Was spiked or something. Yes.
Right.
And she was basically out of it. And he takes her, when he's done with her, allegedly takes her into a room. And then some of his teammates, it's horrific, Rob.
And here's the part.
For an hour and a half, according to the accusations.
Right. And here's the thing that people need to understand. And Chris, we know how horrific if this is all true, alleged with rape, but you got to understand, underage, it doesn't matter. They can consent, Chris, and if the parents want to press charges, statutory rape,
that's the thing.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't. She could have said yes.
It doesn't really matter if it was consensual.
It doesn't matter. That's why him saying it was consensual doesn't mean anything. If she was 17 at the time. She was underage. That's all that matters. And if the parents want to push the envelope and go that way, Chris, it doesn't matter what she said.
Right. And some people are saying 17, 21.
No.
I get it, but it doesn't. The law is the law.
Right. There's a number.
It is what it is. I mean, that's unfortunately high school girl. Unfortunately, she's at a college party. And at least according to the reports and what she's saying, things got out of hand. And way out of hand, for that matter.
She shouldn't have been drinking. She's underage, even at a house party. I know. I mean, you know that.
It's unfortunate.
She was in a bad spot.
Whatever the case, she didn't deserve this, obviously.
No.
If this is what's alleged. I mean, she certainly didn't deserve it. And look, I'm not going to act like the Bills are, doing the Chiefs when they cut Kareem Hunt. Remember that?
Right.
They really got out in front of that thing once they knew.
Well, but they told them too, Chris. They said, "Don't lie to us."
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Like that was the big thing, and I respect that. Tell us what happened, because then if you come back with a different, and I'm gonna give you another example. I don't know if you remember this when Marv Albert got fired from NBA on NBC. And they told him, they said, Chris, we'll stand by you, but if you cop a plea, you'll be fired immediately. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And he copped a plea, and NBC fired Marv, if you remember.
Right. I remember that. But, so I'm not going to act like the Chiefs are the Bills are, really getting out in front of this thing. They knew in July, the reports are, what he was accused of. And they even said they did an investigation, and they were, that's why they didn't cut him. In fact, they cut the previous starter. But what I will say, I think they're responding to the public outcry. They know this is on the heels of the Deshaun Watson situation, and it was going to get messy. And so I think they're getting out in front of it now. But I will say this, the GM, Rob, he made a good point, and he said, because he was like, we don't know if he's guilty or not. But we're not equipped, I'm paraphrasing, to do like a great, thorough investigation. And you and I think you've been with me on this. It's the NFL is not. They need to get out of the crime-solving business. I'm not saying you can't, like if a guy is not convicted, if he's acquitted of a crime and there's evidence to think, hey, something happened that we don't like, you are your own corporation. You can say that doesn't reflect well on us, so we're going to suspend you, whether he's charged or not. But I think the guy from the Bills was right, Rob. The GM, he's like, we're going to let the authorities handle it. We're not, the police force. We're a football team. All right. I'm a GM. We got a coach. None of us are equipped to deal with this. So we're getting rid of him. He can go ahead and get his lawyers and fight it. And we'll see if the truth comes out. But we're moving on because this is not what we do.
I get that. Here's my only issue with Buffalo. Chris, they knew about this earlier. As you said, they knew about this. And yet they still picked him. And I don't know what they were thinking.
I don't know. It's questionable whether they knew when they remember the draft. Obviously, is in April.
No, but I'm saying
they knew in July though. They knew once he's on the team, or
but I'm saying when they cut the other
and
when
two teams said they knew during the draft what was going on with him.
So they knew,
but they didn't know the details. They didn't. They just knew there was something out there. Yeah.
And obviously when you hear rape involving a minor, it's very serious, and it's not even like I think that they looked at it and said, this is not what we want our organization to be involved in.
Right.
Some people might say that's unfair. Shouldn't there be a due process, Chris? This is what we talk about all the time. Like when you're an employer, you can make that call. It's just, is it fair? No, it's not fair. Because you would say he should be able to hold on to his job until it's proven. Right. You know what I mean? Like in a court of law, whatever, how it plays out. Right? Because we've seen things blow up in people's faces. Remember the lacrosse team at Duke? You remember that?
Right.
Right. And they got expelled.
Conclusions.
They got all and all that. And then she made up the story. Okay, so you got to be careful.
And I would think, Rob, if let's just say for sake of argument, if that were the case, right? If it comes out, and he of course said that what's being reported in the newspapers,
but I don't think he's denying that he had.
True.
Oh, he's saying that he didn't have sex with her?
He didn't say that, but he's saying the way stuff has been reported is not true.
But see,
so I don't know if that he addressed that or not.
Because the only details that really matter in this, because she's underage, is did he have sex with her?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like that.
But some people will look at it differently, even though you're right. I mean, he could be statutory rape if the parents want to go there. Right. But if it comes out that they had consensual sex and, the rest of the stuff is not true, then I think some people, if the parents press for statutory rape, then that's one thing. Then it's a crime and we'll see. But I think some people will look at it a little differently, whether they should or not. I think they will. But Rob, I'll say this too. They're saying like the reason he's not being charged criminally is because he was not, the guys that raped her allegedly after he was done with her.
Right.
He wasn't in there. But I'm like, you threw her to the wolves, so to speak.
Right.
Right? You may not deserve what they got, but you deserve some punishment.
Because you took her there to those guys waiting on her. Right.
Especially if she was in the state that she said she was in.
Right. It's a bad story.
Situation.
Right. It's a bad story all the way around. But I just if the Bills are really doing this, Chris, because they believe like this is just something we don't want to be associated with, and just forget about the other guys. We don't want a guy who's having sex with underage, women. I can't be mad at them.
No,
Do you know what I'm
can't
like?
argue that.
I can't argue that. I
You
can't
can't argue that. Absolutely. All right.